Hello, very good morning. Today our class is Wi-Fi networking standards and encryption types. In the last class we have seen IPv version 4 and IPv version 6, need for IPv version 6 and details of the IPv version 6 we have seen. So in this class we are going to see what is meant by Wi-Fi, what are the networking standards available for Wi-Fi, and also what are the encryption types used in Wi-Fi networking. So our class is Wi-Fi networking standards and encryption types. So before going to see Wi-Fi networking standards and encryption types, first we see what is meant by Wi-Fi, how it works, and then we see the networking standards and encryption types. So what is Wi-Fi? Generally, anywhere in nowadays, wherever we go, in and around, generally we hear the voice, hear the terms Wi-Fi. Everywhere we are hearing the terms Wi-Fi. So everywhere, maybe it's a restaurant restaurants or shops or shopping malls. They are claiming that they are having Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. Everywhere we are seeing boards like free Wi-Fi provided. And somewhere when you go, generally our friends ask the Wi-Fi password. So what is the Wi-Fi? In many places we are seeing Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. Generally, maximum in restaurants, in shopping malls, in bus stations, and even also railway stations. Everywhere we are seeing free Wi-Fi offered like that. Words. So what is meant by Wi-Fi? Even somewhere we are going to our friends or someone is asking what is Wi-Fi password like that. So most of the people use Wi-Fi all the time, but they don't know, they really don't know what is it and how it works. So as a technical persons, we have to see what is meant by Wi-Fi, how it works, and what are the standards are available, and what are the encryption types available. We have to see. And some people might tell you that Wi-Fi is just another term for the internet, but that is not exactly true. Some of the people are thinking that Wi-Fi is internet, but it is not internet. It is a facility. So what is the Wi-Fi? We have to see now. So Wi-Fi is a wireless networking technology that allows devices such as computers, laptops and desktops, mobile devices like smartphones and wearables, and other equipment like printers and video cameras to interface with the internet. So Wi-Fi is allowing to connect laptops or desktops or smartphones or wearables and printers or video cameras to internet. Wi-Fi is facilitating facilitating us to connect the devices to internet. And Wi-Fi allows these devices and many more to exchange information with one another, creating a network. Wi-Fi is also called as wireless fidelity. In general sense, Wi-Fi refers to the wireless LAN technologies that utilize the IEEE 802.11 standards for communications. Wi-Fi products use radio waves to transmit data from a client device to either an access point, which includes a router, and the router completes a connection to other devices on the LAN, WAN, or the internet. So Wi-Fi is a wireless networking protocol that devices use to communicate without direct cable connections. There is no physical connectivity in Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi allows wireless networking to connect computers, laptops, I mean desktops computers or laptop computers, smartphones or any other networking equipment can be connected through wireless with the help of Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi, it's an industry term that represents a type of wireless local area network protocol based on 802.11 IEEE network standard. So what does Wi-Fi mean? Wi-Fi is not an acronym. It is a brand name created by a marketing firm that's meant to serve as an interoperability seal for marketing efforts. So Wi-Fi is not an acronym. It is a brand name. The term Wi-Fi is a contraction of wireless fidelity and commonly used to refer to wireless networking technology. Generally, we are using simply wireless fidelity to name Wi-Fi, but it is not correct. It is not acronym. For general use, to people to understand, we are using the words wireless fidelity. But whereas Wi-Fi is an only acronym, it's not an acronym. It is a brand name. So how Wi-Fi works? The easiest way to understand Wi-Fi is to consider an average home or business. The main requirement for Wi-Fi is a device that receives and transmits a wireless signal, usually a router, but sometimes a phone or computer. Nowadays, in maximum homes or a small business areas, we are establishing a wireless networking device, maximum router. A router acts as Wi-Fi device where the router facilitates wireless networking facility to connect all the networked devices wirelessly, and they can communicate without wire, nothing but wireless communication among themselves with the help of Wi-Fi facility. That is nothing but here we are using routers in homes or small businesses. And some other devices also there, wireless access point, that's also helps in establishing Wi-Fi networks. Wi-Fi is basically just radio waves broadcast from a Wi-Fi router, a device detecting and deciphering the waves and then sending back data to the router. Wi-Fi works very similarly to an AM amplitude modulation or frequency modulation radio, but it is two-way communication channel. Whereas in AM and FM, only single one-way communication is possible. In case of Wi-Fi, it works similarly to AM and FM radio signal, but it is a two-way communication channel. Wi-Fi is a two-way communication channel. Wi-Fi works over longer distances than Bluetooth or infrared and is also low power unobtrusive technology, making it suitable for portable devices such as laptops and palm tops. Wi-Fi is governed by the Wi-Fi Alliance, an association of manufacturers and regulators defining standards and certifying products Wi-Fi compatible. So here a typical Wi-Fi establishment. Here this is a local area network, and here this is called wireless access point. This exhibits the radio signal, and these are the devices connected to this network through this wireless access point without wires. So these devices, as a desktop computer, is a laptop computer, is a smartphone, are getting internet facility through the Wi-Fi using this wireless access point. So this is a Wi-Fi device here, which receives the signal without wire by producing radio waves and receiving the signal from the radio waves. And this is another establishment Wi-Fi. Is a Wi-Fi enabled device. This is Wi-Fi enabled modem, and this is a broadband connection. This is our internet. It's a global internet. We are getting the internet connection to our home or office somewhere through broadband connection. We are getting internet connection from through broadband connection. So from the broadband connection, that same connection we are giving to Wi-Fi enabled modem. So this is the modem which is having Wi-Fi facility, and this is a device which is having Wi-Fi enabled facility. So this portable device, nothing but laptop, can get internet connectivity or networking connectivity with the help of Wi-Fi enabled modem. Wireless communication is possible between these two. So this is like this. We can have any number of devices connected to this Wi-Fi, and while connecting, generally when we are having Wi-Fi enabled devices with us like laptop or a smartphone or some other devices, automatically these Wi-Fi enabled devices recognizes the Wi-Fi signal which is available near to these devices. If there are more number of Wi-Fi devices available, all the devices details are displayed here. And while establishing this Wi-Fi enabled router or modem, we can set password for the Wi-Fi facility, or this Wi-Fi facility can be opened or free to all the devices. If this Wi-Fi facility is set as open for all the devices, then any Wi-Fi enabled device can connect to this Wi-Fi router without any password or anything. If we set a password while establishing this router or Wi-Fi enabled modem, then any device, any Wi-Fi enabled device wants to communicate with this router or modem wirelessly to get the Wi-Fi connectivity. So these people must know the password which is set in this router or enabled modem. So this is a method of having the Wi-Fi facility. So how Wi-Fi works? In a typical home or a small business, a router receives and then transmits an internet connection coming from an internet service provider outside the network. So just like as for this is a router, here this is router or modem receiving the internet connection from outside world and exhibiting and giving the same internet signal to all the Wi-Fi enabled devices which are connected to this router wirelessly. The Wi-Fi delivers the service to nearby devices that can reach the wireless signal. So this Wi-Fi serves a signal will be served to all the nearby devices to a certain distance. Thus, distance is based on the router which we are using or modem which we are using. Most homes have one router and multiple devices, including smartphones, desktop, laptop, computers, tablets, and smart TVs that receive their internet connection via Wi-Fi from the router. If we are using a wire connectivity to get the internet connectivity to our homes or to our homes, first we have to get the internet connectivity from the internet service provider, and that must be extended to all the devices with wire by establishing a switch or hubs, and the wire cable wire must run to the each and every devices. And those, if we have connected this internet connectivity or internet connectivity with the wire, once we have connected with the wire, and that device cannot be moved, and that device place is fixed in the house. But if we have connected a router, established a router, if that is having Wi-Fi facility, so that all the devices, I mean, all the Wi-Fi enabled devices like laptop computers or smartphones or tablets or smart TVs, any other device can be connected, and all the devices can be moved anywhere in the house within the radius of the Wi-Fi router. In some cases, a user without a router can set up a phone or computer as a Wi-Fi hotspot, so it can share the devices wireless or wired internet connection with other devices, similar to the way a router works. In some cases, especially without router, a smartphone or a computer they are having Wi-Fi hotspots with them. Nowadays, almost all smartphones and all laptop computers having the Wi-Fi hotspot facility with them. So if any mobile device like smartphone or a laptop computer is getting internet from some source, and the after getting the internet facility from some source, this laptop or smartphone which are having Wi-Fi hotspots facility with them. So with that Wi-Fi hotspot facility with them, they can share the internet facility with other Wi-Fi enabled devices. So no matter how Wi-Fi is used or what its source of connection is, the result is always the same. A wireless signal that lets other devices connect to the main transmitter of communication, entertainment, file transfers, voice messages, or other data transmission. A wireless network uses radio waves just like cell phones, television, and radios do. In fact, communication across a wireless network is a lot like two-way radio communication. Here what happens, you see, a computer's wireless adapter translates data into a radio signal and transmit it using an antenna. A wireless router receives the signal and decodes it. The router sends the information to the internet using a physical or wired Ethernet connection. The process also works in reverse, with the router receiving information from the internet, translating it into a radio signal, and then sending it to the computer's wireless adapter. So this is how Wi-Fi exactly works. So the information passed, the communication between among all the Wi-Fi enabled devices with the help of Wi-Fi router in the form of radio waves. So any computer or any smartphone which is want to send the information, that information is translated to the radio waves with the adapter, wireless adapter, nothing but it's an antenna, and then wireless router receives that signal and decodes it and send to the information to the internet using a physical or Ethernet connection. And this reverse process, while receiving the information, the computers or smartphone, anything, it receives the radio wave signal from the router, and that radio wave signal translated to the digital format with the help of computers or smartphones wireless adapter. So this is how Wi-Fi works. The radios used for Wi-Fi communications are very similar to the radios used for walkie-talkies, cell phones, and other devices. They can transmit and receive radio waves, and they can convert ones and zeros into radio waves and convert the radio waves back to ones and zeros. But Wi-Fi radios have a few notable differences from other radios. Those are Wi-Fi transmit at frequencies of 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz. This frequency is considerably higher than the frequencies used for cell phones, walkie-talkies, and televisions. The higher frequency allows the signal to carry more data. They use 802.11 networking standards, which came in several flavors. So here another establishment Wi-Fi. So here we are getting global internet, and this global internet is connected to the wireless router. And here computer voice over IP phone, wireless router, Wi-Fi phone, and cell phone network, and cell phone, and this is a public switch telephone network, and the analog telephone. So we are getting the internet here to the wireless router. With this help of wireless router, all the Wi-Fi enabled devices can get the signal. So Wi-Fi networking standards. So far we have seen what is meant by Wi-Fi, how it works, what is the name for Wi-Fi and everything. Now we are going to see the Wi-Fi networking standards. So what are the standards, Wi-Fi networking standards we have? So Wi-Fi wireless standards are a set of services and protocols that dictates how our Wi-Fi network and other data transmission networks acts. So these standards, the most common set of wireless standards is the IEEE 802.11 wireless LAN and mesh. The IEEE update the 802.11 Wi-Fi standard every few years. The current Wi-Fi standard is 802.11ac, while the next generation of Wi-Fi standard is 802.11ax is in the process of rolling out. So there are certain standards to set up the Wi-Fi network, and these standards are set by IEEE, and generally these standards are termed as 802.11 standards. And the Wi-Fi standards IEEE update the 802.11 Wi-Fi standards for every few years. So IEEE 802.11 and the standards body. So who set the standards for Wi-Fi? Here IEEE take care of. IEEE takes care of Wi-Fi standards. That is Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. The IEEE decide the things like how many bits are in the byte and the standards for encryption. Everything set by the IEEE for Wi-Fi standards. From this group, we get the various flavors of Wi-Fi. They are all called the IEEE 802.11 standard with the letter after the 802.11 numbers. The usual rule is the higher the letter, the faster the speed of the network. Almost all of these functions cover a range of about 30 meters, nothing but 150 feet. So Wi-Fi networking standard, each network can be broken by a few different settings. Those are speed and frequency. So speed indicates that how much data the network can transmit, and this is calculated in Mbps, nothing but 1 million bits per second. The frequency, what radio frequency the network is carried on, these are either 5 gigahertz or 2.4 gigahertz. So any network takes care of these two things, speed of the network and also frequency of the radio frequency of the network. Since Wi-Fi was first released to consumers in the year 1997, Wi-Fi standards have been continually evolving, typically resulting in faster speeds and further coverage. Speed and coverage is most important. So in continuous evolution of the Wi-Fi standards, there is increase in speeds and also coverage area. So the Wi-Fi, as much as speed and also it must cover maximum area. With every new capability comes a name change to set the standards apart. As capabilities are added to the original IEEE 802.11 standard, they become known by their amendment like 802.11b, 802.11g and etc. In the year 2018, the Wi-Fi Alliance took steps to make Wi-Fi standards names easier to identify and understand. Wi-Fi 4, Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6 like that and etc. So this is a brief history of Wi-Fi wireless standards. IEEE standard 802.11a and 802.11b, 802.11g and 802.11n, 802.11ac and 802.11ax. So these are the Wi-Fi standards released by IEEE. And the 802.11a released in the year 1999, 802.11b also released in the 1999, and 802.11g is released in the year 2003, and 802.11n released in the year 2009, and 802.11 AC released in the year 2014, and 802.11ax is released in the year 2019. The frequency of 802.11a is 5 GHz and 802.11b is 2.4 GHz, and 802.11g also having frequency 2.4 GHz. Here, whereas in 802.11n there is two frequencies, 2.4 GHz and also 5 GHz. For 802.11ac also there are two frequencies, 2.4 GHz and also 5 GHz. For 802.11ax also two frequencies, 2.4 GHz and also 5 GHz. So maximum data rate speed In case of 802.11a is 54 Mbps, and for 802.11b it is 11 million bits per second, and 802.11g it is 54 Mbps again, whereas 802.11n it is 600 Mbps, and for 802.11ac it is 1.3 Gbps, for 802.11ax it is 10 to 12 Gbps. This is some details about all the IEEE standards for Wi-Fi networking, and year of release and frequency, and also maximum data rate. So these are the Wi-Fi networking standards: 802.11a, 802.11b, 802.11g, 802.11n, and 802.11ac, that is also called Wi-Fi 5, and 802.11x, this is also called Wi-Fi 6. So now we will see details about all these Wi-Fi networking standards. So 802.11a is an IEEE standard for transmitting data over a wireless network, and this uses a 5 GHz frequency band and supports data transfer rates of 54 megabits per second or 6.75 megabits per second. The 802.11a standard was released in the year 1999, around the same time as 802.11b also released. While 802.11b only supported a data transfer rate of 11 Mbps, most routers and wireless cards at the time were manufactured using the 802.11b standard. Therefore, 802.11b remained more popular than 802.11a for several years. In the year 2003, 802.11a standard was superseded by 802.11g, which uses the same frequency of 2.4 GHz band as 802.11a, supports transfer rates of up to 54 Mbps. So now Wi-Fi 802.11b standard 802.11b is one of several Wi-Fi standards developed by IEEE. It was released in the year 1999 along with the 802.11a as the first update to the initial 802.11 specification published in the year 1997. Both 802.11a and 802.11b are wireless transmission standards for local area networks, but 802.11a uses a 5 GHz frequency, and while 802.11b operates on 2.4 GHz band. The 802.11b Wi-Fi standard provides a wireless range of roughly 35 meters indoors and 140 meters outdoors. It supports transfer rates up to 11 Mbps. In the late 1990s, this was significantly faster than internet speeds available to most home and business. Therefore, the speed was typically only a limitation for internal data transfers within a network. Next standard is 802.11g standard. 802.11g is a Wi-Fi standard developed by IEEE for transmitting data over a wireless network. The 802.11g operates on a 2.4 GHz bandwidth and supports data transfer rates up to 54 Mbps. 802.11g is a backward compatible with 802.11b hardware, but if there are any 802.11 based computers on the network, the entire network will have to run at 11 Mbps only, the maximum speed that 802.11b supports. However, we can configure the 802.11g wireless router to only accept 802.11g devices, which will ensure the network runs at its top speed. Next standard is 802.11n standard. 802.11n is a Wi-Fi standard that was introduced by the IEEE in the year 2007 and officially published in the year 2009. This supports a longer range and higher wireless transfer rates than previous standard 802.11g. 802.11n devices supports MIMO, that is nothing but multiple in, multiple out data transfers, which can transmit multiple streams of data at once. This is the main advantage of 802.11. This technology effectively doubles the range of a wireless device. Therefore, a wireless router that uses 802.11n may have twice the radius of coverage as an 802.11g router. Devices that use 802.11n can transfer data over 100 Mbps. Next standard is 802.11ac. This is also called Wi-Fi 5 standard. The 802.11ac, also called 5G Wi-Fi, is the fifth generation of Wi-Fi technology standardized by IEEE. This is an evolution of previous standard, the 802.11n, that provides greater bandwidth and more simultaneous spatial streams. This allows 802.11ac devices to support data transfer rates that are several times faster than those of 802.11 devices. And unlike previous Wi-Fi standards, which operated at 2.4 GHz frequency, 802.11ac operates exclusively on 5 GHz frequency band. And this prevents interference with common 2.4 GHz devices such as cordless phones, baby monitors, and older wireless routers. So this avoids interference also with other devices. This avoids interference with other wireless devices. Computers and mobile devices that supports 802.11ac will benefit from the 5 GHz bandwidth, but older wireless devices can still communicate with an 802.11ac router at a lower speed. The initial 802.11ac standard, that is nothing but Wave 1, supports a maximum data transfer rate of 1300 megabits per second or 1.3 Gbps using 3 spatial streams. This is significantly faster than 802.11n's maximum speed of 450 Mbps. The second 802.11ac standard, that is nothing but Wave 2, will support twice the bandwidth of Wave 1 devices and offer data transfer rates up to 3470 Mbps. So this is about 802.11ac, nothing but a Wi-Fi 5 standard. So now the advanced standard 802.11ax. This is also called Wi-Fi 6 standard. It is a sixth generation of Wi-Fi technology. 802.11ax is a sixth generation of Wi-Fi technology. This provides faster wireless speeds and handles multiple connections more efficiently than previous 802.11ac standard, also known as Wi-Fi 5. So 802.11ax or Wi-Fi 6 specifications are: Wi-Fi 6 supports data transfer rate up to 1200 Mbps, that is or 1.2 gigabits per second per stream. This is roughly 3 times faster than Wi-Fi 5's top speed of 433 megabits per second. Wi-Fi 5 allows 3 simultaneous streams for a total of 1400 Mbps, whereas Wi-Fi 6 supports 4 streams for a theoretical maximum speed of 4800 Mbps. The Wi-Fi 6 supports 4. The Wi-Fi 6 standard supports channel bandwidths of 20, 40, 80, and 160 MHz. It can operate on either 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz frequencies. Is backward compatible with older devices that do not support 802.11ax. An extension of the standard called Wi-Fi 6E provides a new 6 GHz frequency band to help reduce wireless congestion on the commonly used the 5 GHz band. So Wi-Fi 6 having this technologies, two technologies. Wi-Fi 6 include two primary technologies that improves the wireless network efficiency, that is OFDMA and multi-user MIMO. So what is OFDMA? Orthogonal frequency division multiple access enables connected clients to share channels. It reduces latency and improves efficiency, especially in busy wireless networks. So other technology, MU-MIMO, that is multi-user, multiple input, multiple output, allows more data to be transferred at one time. It enables access points to communicate with up to 8 devices simultaneously. So the speciality of this Wi-Fi 6 standard, that is nothing but 8.11ax standard, is multiple access and multiple input and output. That is nothing but all the devices communicate simultaneously. So what are the requirements for Wi-Fi 802.11ax? That is nothing but Wi-Fi 6. To use Wi-Fi 6, we need Wi-Fi 6 router and a Wi-Fi 6 device such as smartphone or laptop with an 8.2.11ax wireless adapter. So to use this, so we must require Wi-Fi 6 enabled router, that is nothing but 802.11ax facility having router. And if we want to use that one, our laptop or smartphone or our networking device must have the facility of 802.11ax or nothing but Wi-Fi 6 standard with our wireless adapter. Then only we are able to communicate with the Wi-Fi 6 standard. Wi-Fi technologies are backward compatible, but if either end of the connection does not support Wi-Fi 6, the device will communicate via the highest common standard only. So this is summary of the various networking standards and their particulars. Here these are the 802.11a, 11b, 11g, 11n and also 11ac. So frequency of 802.11a is 5 gigahertz and 802.11b is 2.4 gigahertz, 802.11g is 2.4 gigahertz again, 802.11n and also 802.11ac. This works on maximum 5 gigahertz. So maximum transfer rate of here 54 megabits per second in case of 802.11a, and this allows transmission range 25 to 75 feet indoors. The range can be affected by building materials. Whereas 802.11b transfer rate is 11 Mbps. This allows transmission range up to 150 feet indoors. Range can be affected by building materials here also. And for 802.11g, the transfer rate is 54 Mbps. The transmission range is up to 150 feet indoors. In case of 1.802.11n, the transfer rate is up to 600 Mbps. The transmission range is 175 plus feet indoors. In case of 802.11ac, the transfer speed is up to 1 Gbps. This offers 115 feet indoors transmission range. So if we observe for all the Wi-Fi standards, all the routers, Wi-Fi standard routers, they are affected by building materials. So this is summary of various networking standards and particulars. So now so far we have seen all the Wi-Fi standards. There are different Wi-Fi standards set by IEEE. So far we have discussed. Now we are going to see Wi-Fi encryption types. This is most important to secure the communication. To secure the communication, encryption types are required. Encryption is the process of converting data into a cryptic format or a code when it is transmitted on a network. Encryption prevents unauthorized use of the data. Encryption types are used to provide security for wireless transmissions. Choosing the proper level of encryption is just a vital, and the right choice will determine whether the wireless LAN is a house of straw or shielded fortress. So, having wireless communication, encryption methodology is most important, because in between a eavesdropper or intruder may steal the information. That's why encryptions are required, which encryption converts the data into a particular format which cannot be understood by other persons except the receiver. There are a number of encryption techniques, but here what are the encryption types offered by the Wi-Fi we are going to see. So these are the Wi-Fi encryption types offered by the Wi-Fi technologies. So WEP, wide equivalent privacy. WPA, that is Wi-Fi protected access. WPA2, this is also Wi-Fi protected access. Version 2 is of 256 bit. Next one, temporal key integrity protocol. And next one is the CCM mode protocol. And next one is the AE advanced encryption standards. These are the Wi-Fi encryption types presently available. So if you see the wide equivalent privacy, that is WEP, wide equivalent privacy is an authentication method where all the users share the same key. Generally, in encryption, we see the encryption is a process of converting data into cryptic format or a code when it's transmitted in a network. This code cannot be understood by middleman like intruder or eavesdropper. So the sender, while sending, convert the normal data into a particular format, that is nothing but cryptic format, separate code which cannot be understood by other except the receiver. So this cryptic format information transmitted over the networking, and at the receiving end, that crypted format retransmitted to normal text, normal data, normal information, then that can be understood by the receiver. So in the communication media, the data flow in the form of cryptic format or different format only. So here, these are the technologies used for wireless wired equivalent privacy is an authentication method where all the users have the same key. It means while encrypting, the same key will be shared by all the users. WEP is a security protocol for Wi-Fi networks. Since wireless networks transmit data over radio waves, it is easy to intercept data or eavesdrop on wireless data transmissions. That's why the goal of WEP is to make wireless networks as secure as wired networks, such as those connected by Ethernet cables. So the wired equivalent privacy protocol adds security to a wireless network by encrypting the data. WEP employs the runs code stream cipher, that is nothing but RC4, which uses 40 or 144-bit keys and a 24-bit initialization vector. WEP uses a symmetric algorithm, which means that two devices must share a secret key in order to communicate securely with one another. So generally, sender or receiver must come to an understanding that they communicate with each other. That understanding, nothing but when sender wants to send the information through that transmission media to a receiver, that information must be converted into a particular key, a particular encryption code, that is nothing but cryptic code, and to uncrypt that one, nothing but decrypt that one, a key also required, that is also generated by the sender. That key must be known to the receiver. After receiving the data, encrypted data, the receiver must be in position to decrypt the data. So the sender send the cryptic data and also after encrypting along with the key. And there are number of methods to send the key, and there are number of keys, public key and private key and everything that comes under the network security. But we are discussing about the encryption types used with Wi-Fi. We are limiting this our discussion to here only. And the WB is a symmetric algorithm, which means that two devices must share a secret key in order to communicate securely with one another. Next Wi-Fi encryption technique is Wi-Fi protected access, that is nothing but WPA. WPA is a security protocol designed to create secure wireless Wi-Fi networks. Wi-Fi protected access is a security standard to secure computers connected to Wi-Fi network. Its purpose is to address various weaknesses in the previous system, that in the wired equivalent privacy standard. The Wi-Fi protected access, this included a 128-bit temporary key integrity protocol, that is the most important, which dynamically produces a new key for each data packet. WEP only had a smaller 40-bit encryption key, which was fixed and had to be manually entered on wireless access points. So TKIP, temporary key integrity protocol, was designed to be used with older WEP devices with updated firmware. So in the Wi-Fi protected access, for an encrypted data transfer to work, Both systems on the beginning and end of the data transfer must use the same encryption and decryption key. While WP provides each authorized system with the same key, WPA uses the temporal key integrity protocol, which dynamically changes the key that the system uses. This prevents intruders from creating their own encryption key to match the one used by the secure network. WPA also implements extensible authentication protocol, that is nothing but EAP, for authorizing users. Instead of authorizing computers based solely on their MAC address, WPA can use several other methods to verify each computer's identity. This makes it more difficult for unauthorized systems to gain access to the wireless network. So the Wi-Fi protected access has discrete modes for the enterprise users and for personal use. So it is offering two modes for enterprise and also personal use. In the enterprise mode, WPA EAP uses more stringent 802.1x authentication with the extensible authentication protocol. Whereas in personal mode, WPA PSK uses pre-shared keys for simpler implementation and management among the consumers and small offices. So here in this case, in the enterprise mode, WPA using extensible authentication protocol, that is EAP, whereas in the personal mode, the pre-shared keys are used for Wi-Fi WPA. The enterprise mode requires the use of an authentication server. So next one is WPA2 Wi-Fi protected access version 2. So Wi-Fi protected access 2 is a network security technology commonly used on Wi-Fi wireless networks. It is an upgrade from the original WPA technology, which was designed as a replacement for the older and much less secure WEP. WPA is used on all certified Wi-Fi hardware since 2006 and is based on the IEEE 802.11i technology standard for data encryption. This WPA2 replaces the RC4 cipher and TKIP with the two stronger encryption and authentication mechanisms. Those are the advanced encryption standard and counter mode with cipher blockchaining messages, that is nothing but CCMP authentication code protocol. So these two protocols, authentication encryption standard AES and counter mode with cipher blockchaining message CCMP authentication code protocol, works in WPA2. Also meant to be backward compatible, WPA2 supports TKP as a fallback of a device cannot support CCMP. Here, temporal key integrated protocol used for backward compatibility. WPA2 also introduced more seamless roaming, allowing clients to move from one access point to another on the same network without having to re-authenticate using pairwise master key caching and pre-authentication. So WPA2 is a security protocol, is method added to WPA for wireless networks that provide stronger data protection and network access control. Here WPA2 has having two versions, WPA2 personal, WPA2 enterprise. So WPA2 personal protects unauthorized networks access by initializing a setup password, and WPA enterprise version verifies network users through a server. WPA-T is backward compatible with WPA. There are two versions, WPA personal and WPA enterprise. In the WPA, that is nothing but Wi-Fi protected access version 2. So next one encryption tool is TKIP, temporal key integrity protocol. This TKIP, temporal key integrity protocol, is a wireless network security protocol of the IEEE 802.11. This temporal key integrity protocol encryption is more robust than wired equivalent privacy WEP, which was the first Wi-Fi security protocol. TKIP features boosting encryption strength, preventing collision attacks without hardware replacement, serving as a WEP code wrapper and also adding per packet maximum mixing of media access control base keys and serial numbers, assigning a unique 48-bit sequencing number to each packet, initializing the RC4 stream cipher 128-bit encryption keys and 64-bit authentication keys. These are the features of TKIP temporal key integrity protocol features. Next one, CCM mode protocol. CCMP is an enhanced data cryptographic encapsulation mechanism designed for data confidentiality and based upon the counter mode with CBC, MAC, nothing but CCM of AES standard. It was created to address the vulnerabilities in preceding encryption protocols such as WEP and also TKIP. The CCMP protocol is based on advanced encryption standard encryption algorithm using the counter mode with CBC MAC mode of operation. The CCM mode combines counter mode privacy and cipher block chaining message authentication code MAC authentication. So this is about CCM protocol. Next one, advanced encryption standard encryption type. AES or advanced encryption standard, also known as Rizendal, is one of the most widely used methods for encrypting and decrypting sensitive information in the year 2017. This encryption method uses what is known as block cipher algorithm to ensure that the data can be stored securely. The AES is an symmetric encryption algorithm. The algorithm was developed by two Belgian cryptographers Jan Daman and Vincent Reichman. AES was designed to be efficient in both hardware and software and supports block length of 128 bits and key lengths of 128, 192 and 256 bits. The features of AES are symmetric key symmetric block cipher is allowed, 128 bit or 128 or 192 or 256 bit keys are used in this encryption technology, stronger and faster than triple DES data encryption standard. DES provide full specification design details, software implementable in C and also Java languages. These are the features of advanced encryption standard. So encryption types, we summarize this. WEP, wide equipment privacy, wide equivalent privacy, it is a 64-bit size key size, and Wi-Fi protected access version 2 is 256 bits, 256 version 2. Temporal key integrity protocol allows 128-bit key size, and CCMP mode protocol 128-bit key size. In case of advanced encryption standard, there are multiple key size, 128-bit, 192-bit and also 256-bit. So these are the different types of encryption types offered in the Wi-Fi technology. The possible combination for choosing Wi-Fi password for home router generally. So these are the possible combinations. WPA with TKIP. This is the default choice for old routers that do not support WPA2. WPA with AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. AES was first introduced before the WPA2 standard was completed, although few clients support. WPA2 with AES, this is the default choice for the newer routers and the recommended option for networks where all clients support AES. Next one is WPA2 with AES and TKIP. That is nothing but routers need to enable both modes if any clients do not support AES. So all WPA2 capable clients support AES, but most WPA clients do not. So these are the general standards used in the home networks, home Wi-Fi networks for their password. So far we have discussed what is Wi-Fi, what are the Wi-Fi standards, and what are the Wi-Fi encryption types. So Wi-Fi standards are set by IEEE. Standards are 8.2.11a and 11g, 11n, 11ac, 8.2.11ax, and that is nothing but Wi-Fi 5 and also Wi-Fi 6. We have also discussed about Wi-Fi encryption types: WEP, WPA, WPA2, TKIP, and CCMP, and also AES encryption types. Thank you.